Hello, everybody. My name is Megan, and I haven't been on in a little while to talk about all of the patches, and I have been getting a lot of questions about the different patches. And so I am just going to, I've got all my LifeWave patches right here, and I'm just quickly going to go through and just explain. I'm going to explain a little bit about how I use these patches. And you might be wondering, why doesn't she just tell me exactly what every patch does? There's a very certain specific way that you have to say things in order to be compliant. So I find it easier to just tell you why I use them, because I feel like when I actually tell you what they really do, and it's a lot, sometimes it's not compliant. So, and also just to let everybody know, if I get questions regarding medical conditions, things like that, I cannot ever answer those questions. I won't even say I wish I did. No one knows enough to answer medical questions in a YouTube. So just sharing that, but just wanted to talk a little bit about these patches. And I also figured I would talk about them as they pertain to my life right now. We found a water leak in the closet that is part of our apartment, and it was already growing mold. That is my kryptonite. It's actually the thing that disabled me in the first place, being exposed to a water leak that wasn't fixed properly. It was actually a flood. But anyway, Alfie, come on. And so we're using the patches a little bit differently right now. I'm not using them as a medical treatment. They're not a treatment. They're not a cure. But I am going to just explain. Alfie, come on. I am just going to explain a little bit about what they do. And so, first and foremost, I'm always going to start with the most important patch. That is the X39. If somebody is going to wear one patch, this is the patch that I wear for almost everything. I wear this patch every day during the day. If there's one that you're going to wear and you want to invest in LifeWave, it would be for sure X39. It's fine to only use this one. A lot of people just stick to one patch as this is the hallmark. I personally use this one to support my body with energy levels, with beautiful skin. I've experienced better sleep with it. I've experienced myself, I've noticed that it just seems like it's a little bit easier for me to heal when I wear this patch. Really important to note, I don't wear this instead of medical care. I still see my doctor. I'm still under a doctor's care. I see her every 3 months for lots of labs. And this is not a replacement. However, it is a cherry on top of the other things that I do, and I cannot imagine not wearing it. It's worth noting that my dog she just got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and we were at the neurologist yesterday, and it's brain related. She has lesions in her brain. And I don't mean to be so cheerful, but if you're not cheerful, you just start crying. So I'm just going to be cheerful. And so what I'm doing right now, not because this is her treatment again, is I'm putting this basically right on the back of her head. So I like to put this patch where I know that I want to give the body the most attention. A lot of times I have some digestive stuff, so a lot of times I put it on my belly button. Sometimes I put it on the back of my head. This is like your everything patch. It does so much. You don't have to wear 80 patches. This is a wonderful, wonderful patch. She wears it. I've been sticking it to her fur, and because I don't want it to stick super, super strongly because she's just a little 4-pound girl, I actually put a dab of olive oil on it to break the adhesive. I blot it off, and then I stick it on her hair, and it comes off really easily. These, I just have to say, I'm a brand partner, and these are not recommended for dogs. They were not tested on dogs. I use them, and I like to use them for my dogs. So number one patch, X39 is everything. X49 is a patch, and this is just my personal experience. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but I noticed that when I combined the two of them, my hair seemed to grow in thicker in some spots where it was thinning. This is not a patch that's sold for that. I certainly don't think that happens for everyone. It's not a claim that the company makes. Another thing that I really noticed with this patch was increased stamina, and it was easier for me to build muscle when working out. I don't have really big muscles, but it does help me I'm in my late 40s and it helps me to get that toned muscle that I'm looking for. I feel that it does. So this is a great patch as well. If somebody asked me, should I wear the X39 or the X49, every single time it's going to be this one. So it doesn't mean that this is unimportant, but I would consider this to be a priority. Next patch. This is a patch that I think that just about everybody needs. So I'm going to explain it this way. The autoimmune disease that my dog was just that she has, and we're not talking about disease, but just explaining, is it happens because of inflammation. A lot of people's issues happen because of inflammation. And inflammation can have a lot of causes, right? It could be that you're exposed to something. It could be that you're eating a lot of foods that are inflaming you. You're not sleeping enough because, of course, sleep is going to bring down your inflammation. And if you don't know this, being stressed out, which I think all of us have been stressed out at one point or another, being stressed out, of course, is going to raise your inflammation levels. So right now, for instance, my whole goal with my little sweet 12-year-old dog Lola is to bring her inflammation down as much as I can. I'm using Eastern and Western, conventional and non-conventional things. As far as conventional, we're using steroids. We're using a high dose of steroids for her tiny body because does it have issues when you use steroids? Yes, it does. But it is one of the things that's keeping her alive, and it's anti-inflammatory. I am also supporting her body with this patch. This is the Eon. And I've been saying Eon since I started wearing LifeWave. Apparently it might be Aeon. So I'm sorry if I've been saying it wrong, but forgive me, I'm still going to say Eon. This patch is one of my favorites. And why do I like something that lowers inflammation? And I can't say that. Forget that I said that. Why would I wear something that supports lower inflammation or supports healthy levels of inflammation? Because there's a lot of different reasons, but for some people, they might find that if they can actually support in many different ways healthier levels of inflammation, they might find that they're less stressed. They might find that they're sleeping better. They might find that they have less, discomfort, let's say. So this is a super popular patch. If I'm starting anybody off that just doesn't feel like smooth sailing, amazing all the time, this is the combination that if they ask me, what do you think I should wear? These two, just these two. Don't go crazy. Wear these two for a few months and see how it is. And so I'm wearing these two. I wear the Eon right behind my right ear, and I wear the X39. I think it's important to manage your stress because if you would like to be well and you'd like to be your best, and if you're dealing with anything, I don't care what it is, your body is in a better state to heal if it is more relaxed, if it is more balanced. So those are great patches. All right, let's talk about some other special patches. The glutathione patch I love this patch. I think it's amazing, especially for folks like me. I was a hairstylist for years, and unfortunately I lived in several water damaged buildings that I was exposed to a lot of stuff in. What is glutathione? Glutathione is something that naturally occurs in your body, and it is your body's master antioxidant. I'm not saying that this patch is your body's master antioxidant, but this is the glutathione patch. And so for me, I wear this patch. It is a very supportive patch, I find personally, of my immune system. So right now, we just found that we have a water damage issue in our apartment. And we are hoping and praying that it gets fixed promptly. It seems like our apartment management is being more receptive to fixing it. It wasn't a really easy start with them. They didn't want to fix it. And so I'm moving into a hotel tonight because my kryptonite is mold, unfortunately, and water damage. And glutathione for me is something I'm always going to be wearing when I know that there is a problem around me. I'm not saying it's going to fix that problem. I'm not saying it's the only thing. I also tend to take a binder to mop up toxins. I also do a whole lot of other holistic things like getting my lymphatic system going, resting enough because that's going to get my lymphatic system draining. Your lymphatic system is the drainage from your brain. It's what's helping to clean and keep your brain healthy. So important stuff, right? So I'm not just like, oh, I'm having an issue, I'm just going to stick this patch on. But it is one of the things that I do. I also used this. My cat was having a bit of an issue with some infections, which is pretty common in male cats. And I did have him wear this patch during that time, and I noticed a change in my cat. I also gave him antibiotics and proper vet care. This is a great patch. One note that I would like to say is that I personally have found this to be a very powerful patch. So I don't have my clients just stick this patch on and wear it 7 days a week. I usually have them start a little bit differently than that. I've got a special way. Everybody's different. That's just never how I would start anybody. It's not that it's wrong. I just like to start things with a little finesse. By the way, if you haven't tried the patches and you would like someone to help you start the patches, you can order patches through me. And if you'd like my help, I always greet people that have joined with me I send them an email, and you're welcome to write back to me and I can help you. I think my email is probably in the description as well, but I do only send emails for business just because I'm so busy, and I save my personal consultations for my clients, obviously, because I do spend time with people. But anyway, available for that. So something else that I want to share, this is the original OG patch. This is the energy enhancer. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I just use this. And I know I'm going back to my dog and to myself. The energy enhancer is a really interesting patch. This is a 2-patch set. You may not realize it if you get this. There is a white and a tan patch. If you open up the LifeWave envelopes, you're going to see there's 2 sides. So you have white on one side, you have tan on the other. You need to wear both of these patches if you wear this patch. Do I think everybody has to wear this? Nope, I don't. I put this patch. So Lola, for many days, has been wearing 2 sets of energy enhancer. She wears it in the front and she wears it in the back. And why did I do that? I did that in hopes of supporting better energy movement and better circulation in her body. I have also been known to do the same thing for me, as one of the issues. I won't say exactly I have several diagnosed conditions. I won't say exactly what they are because I'm not really supposed to talk about conditions, even though they're a big part of my life. But I often have worn them kind of in the area of my digestion, because if your digestion is off, if you don't know this, everything is off. So this is a really interesting patch. It's not like you're drinking a cup of coffee. It's not like an energy drink. It is a steady energy. It is support of your mitochondria and your ATP. That's the powerhouse of your body. When that starts to go wrong, there's a lot that happens. It's kind of, think about this. If you learned about ATP, you probably learned about it in middle school, and probably didn't mean much to you because when you're, 13, you have tons of energy. But when we experience some mitochondrial dysfunction, we don't really know what's happening at first, and our body definitely needs to conserve energy. I always think of when your body stops producing the energy it needs, it's like when your iPhone is really low on batteries and it goes into that conservation mode where it starts to power things down. And you don't realize that your phone isn't fetching messages, and you don't realize that, your phone is all of a sudden, maybe the color isn't as bright, everything has changed. That's kind of what it feels like when you've got some mitochondrial dysfunction as well. It's something that a lot of people that have been exposed to heavy toxins experience. Perhaps you've heard of people that have had things like chronic fatigue. So anyway, not saying that you should treat it with that in any way, but just saying that it happens to people. So let's talk about another one of my very favorites. For years, I had chronic sleeping problems. And interestingly enough, I took things to sleep for years and years. And for me, one of the signs that there was an issue in our home again is that I started having a lot of trouble sleeping. I started having trouble sleeping and I was clenching my jaw. And I was like, this is so weird. The last time I did this, we had mold. And then my husband found a water pipe that was like spraying for maybe, a month or so in the closet. And we kind of knew what it was, right? But anyway, you can always change your health. That's the way I look at it. You can have a dip in your health. There's a lot of things that we can do. And hopefully we can change those things. So this is a patch that especially when I started, out, the X39 did make a difference. I did notice that I slept better. The Eon made a difference. I slept better. I still wanted to sleep even better. And so I added in the silent nights. And interestingly enough, when I first started using this, I was like, I don't think it works for me. I don't think this is the patch for me. I researched more, I watched more things. And one of the things that I learned is that if you look at silent nights, there is a brochure, and there's different spots where you can wear this patch. And it's really important to cycle through the spots and to find the one that works for you. I personally respond to wearing the patch on my foot the best. Everybody is different. The other thing that I tell most people when I set them up with patches is you're probably not going to notice this right away. Maybe you will. I would expect folks to probably notice a difference, maybe in more restful sleep or just sleeping through the night more, if it happens for them. Probably 3 to 4 weeks in. So it's not an instant thing. You're not taking a sleeping pill. It's supporting you for healthier sleep. I have been using this lately simply because, when I have something, don't ask me why, but I love my little dog so much. Well, of course I do. When there's something wrong with her, I find it troubling. And so I was having trouble sleeping because I kind of know she's in her sunset times, and the particular disease that she has a prognosis of 3 weeks. I'm going to try to do better than that. My other dog had the same disease, and he had a prognosis of 3 weeks, and I kept him alive for 5 years. He was 5 years younger, but I still believe in miracles. So, but it does worry me. All right, next patch, Alavita. Most people are going to think about Alavita as simply the patch for more beautiful skin. And yes, it does make a difference. I have found if I wear this consistently and X39, I've definitely found that my fine lines don't look as obvious. My skin looks softer. It's never going to be perfect. I'm 49 and my skin is not going to turn back to 29. Like, you can't take a well done steak and make it medium rare, but you can have a glow up. One of the interesting things that I have found with this patch is also that it brings me a fair amount of comfort. If anybody has high levels of inflammation, which has been one of my things, it can be uncomfortable sometimes. You can have, discomfort in your joints. You can just generally not feel good. As soon as I wore this patch for a few days, I did notice a difference. And what I saw, it was really interesting. When I watched one of the videos from LifeWave, they talked about the fact that they actually designed this as support for healthier levels of oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is what ages us. Oxidative stress is a lot of wear and tear on our body. I think of it almost like rust for the body. So this is a great patch for folks that have been through things like I have, not naming conditions, because most people don't even believe that, like things like water damaged buildings probably make you that unhealthy. But let's just say people that have had a toxic exposure, obviously they need to do all the things that their physician does. This is not their treatment. But as far as something like, what can I do that's extra? What can I do? Let's see what happens for me. I like this combination a lot. I like this to support healthy levels of inflammation. I like the Alavita both for the sleep it provides and skin, and maybe it's just doing some nice support for oxidative stress too. And I really like the X39. I know that a lot of folks that have been through what I have been through, like let's say you're living in a water damaged building. The reality of what happens is if it's your home, you owe a lot of money to fix it. And if you want to do it properly, it's expensive. You usually have to leave when they do it. If it's your apartment, a lot of times your landlord doesn't fix it. So you leave and you get a new apartment and you move. It's expensive. So for most folks, I always tell people what's optimal. And I also just give them just a minimal recommendation, because I know that not everybody can afford a bunch of patches, nor do I expect people to. If you're a client of mine and we talk about patches, I'm probably going to recommend the absolute bare minimum to you. And if you've tried those and you're looking for more, then we're going to gradually add some on and try to make it reasonable for you, because everybody's on a fixed income. I'll be honest, my dog has been wearing about 7 or 8 patches a day because I do know what they can do, but she wears more patches than I do for the most part because she's my baby. So, all right, couple more patches. Carnosine is an unsung hero. This is another one for folks that can afford it, that are looking for a little additional support. I love the carnosine. Carnosine, whenever there is something brain related, I love the carnosine for support. I also love the carnosine for stamina. And interestingly enough, I recommend it many times for folks that have had similar things as I have, where they've gotten extremely, extremely tired doing simple things that shouldn't make them tired. Years ago, when I had my first experience being in a water damaged building, I got so tired that after work, I was a hairstylist at the time, I couldn't really sit up. I mean, I was so tired. I felt like I went from 40 to 80 overnight. And this, for me, I would have, if I knew about this then, I don't even know if this patch existed. I bet you it did. I would have been wearing this too. So this is a very nice patch. I wear it about 3 times a week. I don't wear it every single day. Lola, my dog, has been wearing it about 2 times a week. Why do I have her wearing it? I have her wearing it because she's having an issue with her brain. And so anything that I think might add even a few percent of support, she's going to be wearing. So she is wearing this. I like to put it as close as I can to the area as well. She's so tiny and she has so many patches on sometimes. The other day they were really stuck to her legs. I actually, she's been favoring one of her legs a lot. And so I had an LifeWave set. So actually I'm going to explain LifeWave as we talk about Lola. Lola was favoring her rear left leg. And so I put an LifeWave, which I tend to use for discomfort, on the top of her leg and the bottom. Now, here's what I just want to say is very, very difficult, at least for me, about using something like LifeWave. And maybe someone else has a better solution. Technically, when I use LifeWave on my husband, I'm able to communicate with him. I take the tan patch and I put it in the center of his discomfort, and I rotate the white patch around in a clock position until he feels more comfort. Now, the problem with me with a dog is I truly have no idea if I'm getting the placement right or not, because she can't tell me if she notices a difference. So I do my best. I try to guess where her discomfort is based on her movement, and I hope for the best that it's helping her. So I hope that this was a good, very, very quick explanation of what's been, what I wear these for, and why. I would love to tell you everything that I know, but there are, of course, certain reasons with compliance where we can't say every single thing about the patch. So I always try very, very, very hard to be compliant, not to overpromise. I like to actually underpromise and over deliver with the patches. That's my friend texting me because she wants an update about what is going on with my apartment building and are they fixing it. But the other thing, just really, really quickly, wanted to talk to you about a few things so quickly. One is that I am about to launch a class. If you don't know this about me, I started out in network marketing after many other successful careers. Never thought I was going to network market, never thought I would have a big team of brand partners that I would get to help and inspire. Thought I would maybe sign up enough people to pay for my patches if I liked them. As it turned out, I signed up 1,050 people my first year. Never done it, never pushed anybody into buying. I don't believe in being pushy. I don't believe in telling people that they have to buy a lot of something. And I think I don't like personally being sold to. So that was the way that I did it. And so I have been getting together a very concise class on how I did network marketing without the ick, how I shared without going through my Rolodex and calling everybody that I knew. I think it's a very distancing thing when you do network marketing the way that most people do it. And I just don't like it. And I think it's pushy. So I have a class that's launching soon. I'm excited to share that with you guys. I also wanted to share that I have the new LifeWave water machine. I don't think you can see it. My ginormous head is in the way and my cat wheel. It's sort of behind that copper vessel that you see on my counter. So we got the LifeWave water machine about probably about a week ago now. Initially, we had a little bit of an issue. The first one was damaged, not LifeWave's problem at all. Their customer service was incredible. They called me first thing the next morning. I had another water machine within days. The service, it's so great when the service is so good. Their service was exceptional. Second water machine was perfect, turned right on. We flushed it out. And it has been really interesting. Just wanted to share that for me. I know I shared it. I won't go into detail because nobody wants to hear about digestion. I am noticing a difference in my digestion. It's not, I know there's all these stories. People are like, wow, a new body got dropped from the sky. I wish. No, I like my body. I just want it to work a little bit better. But I noticed some positive changes for me. I also gave Lola the water, and a little bit of a backstory. The reason that we knew that Lola was having there was something wrong with her is that her feet started slipping out from under her when she was walking and she couldn't stand up. She tried really hard. Her legs were like noodles, and I thought I was going to have to put her down last week, which was devastating. So I did several things. Definitely not the only thing was giving her water. I'm just going to say that. I had some steroids on hand, and my other dog had a condition that was similar. So I took a chance and I gave her some steroids and I spoke to my vet, by the way. I did talk to my vet. So I did do that. But it was interesting because when I gave her the water, I definitely noticed that day she was sitting up in a stronger way. And she started running around my husband's office. And what I want to say is still running around, favoring her leg. Still not, it's not like, wow, Lola has no problems now. But I definitely did see more pep. I saw that she was running. She started begging again for food when we were making dinner. Which you don't think you really appreciate those things. And we never give her table scraps, by the way, but you don't really think that you like those things. Like, why is my dog begging for food until it stops and it can't get up? So she has been moving around, which was absolutely phenomenal. She's doing a little bit better. I don't know that it will necessarily change her prognosis, but she is very happy. I started making a new special kind of, it's called a yogurt, but it's really like just a very strong probiotic that you make as a yogurt. And I started having it, and then I share some with her. She loves the yogurt. She's peppy and she's still eating. She's drinking water. And because she doesn't drink water necessarily first thing in the morning, I'm literally syringing the LifeWave water into her mouth. So I will let you guys know how she's doing. I mean, she literally has lesions in her brain. So we'll see. I'm not, I don't expect a miracle, but if I could have some support and improvement, that would be amazing. So she is getting that water every single day. I'm drinking it. And interestingly enough, our neighbor came over. He's 70. He has a health condition, which I won't name, but he did drink the water, and he wrote me after, and he's really skeptical. I really like him, but he's not an overly flowery person. Like, most of the time, he's going to tell you that he doesn't like something. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He's just brutally honest. He does wear the 39 patches already. He does wear the Silent Nights patches because he saw me at the gym with them. And he tells everybody about them. He's not a brand partner, but he's always sticking the patches on people. So he came over, he had a drink of the water, and he wrote me 2 hours later and said, I was, and I'm not telling anybody to do this. It's just what he wrote me. So I'm just sharing this. He was like, my blood sugar monitor, like, everything balanced. I didn't need to take my shot that I was supposed to take. That's obviously something he monitors. He knows how to do it. It was very interesting. And the second thing that he said is, he said, Megan, I always have to pee right after I drink water. It's like, and who knows, is it because maybe his hormones are off that help you to retain water? No idea, right? We don't know why it's happening, but it didn't happen. And he was like, wow, that was the weirdest thing. I drank that because it gives you a big glass of water. He was like, I drank that glass of water and it was very unusual. And he said it didn't happen all day. So that was his report. So it was interesting because, of course, like, he had like a wow moment. I had heard of similar moments, and it was just cool. What I just want to say is, It's not a replacement for your doctor. It's not treatment. It's not a cure. I'm not telling anybody to not like take their medicine. Please take your medicine and see your doctor. Do your stuff you're supposed to do. Always do your stuff you're supposed to do. I have definitely heard of people that were like, oh, like people will get mad and they'll say, oh, my mom like wore these and didn't do her medical care because she believed in those so much. It's okay to believe in something and also still do all the things that you need to do to take care of your body. It's never one thing. Okay. So, please don't ever think that a patch is your doctor, that a patch is your only thing you should do, because it's not. And I always want to be realistic, real talk. These are a beautiful complementary tool for our wellness. And yes, they do more than I'm probably ever going to say when I'm on here, because I can't say all the stuff. When I have my consults, I can say, hey, I think this is a combination that's worth you trying. And yeah, I know why I'm saying that to people, but I'm also not trying to be their doctor. So, a little bit about that. And last update. Oh my gosh, sorry, this was longer than I thought. I started taking the Celergize. Didn't really want to take it. It seemed like so many different things, and I'm very skeptical. It doesn't matter how many people I've signed up for the company. It doesn't matter that I love the patches. I'm still skeptical of new products. Like I always say no before I say yes. It's just my personality. I don't believe in everything. I'm a critic. And I actually the company sent me a free thing of it, and it sat for a month. I was like, I'm not going to take that. I don't want to take that. And I finally just decided, why don't I take it and just start? It had so many different things in it, and I don't like starting so many different things. So I started by taking a quarter of what the recommended amount is. I'm still taking a quarter. I'm going to go up next week to a half of the recommended amount. I like it a lot. I did not have personally anything adverse happen. I like that it has so many different things that I know supports the patches working better. So far, I'm very, very, very pleased with the supplement. I am an extremely sensitive person. I have to be careful about how many things I add at once. And when I can take something and say nothing bad happened, and I actually think, especially in light of how much is going on, like the reason that there's towels behind me is because my little dog is slipping and falling. So, there's a lot going on with taking my dog to a neurologist, moving into a temporary apartment, hopefully while they fix this and such. And I definitely felt that when I took that supplement, I felt like something turned on. So although I can't recommend, this is what you should take for your body, I will say that all around, I love the simplicity. I love the quality. I won't say I love the taste. I really like the taste. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's gross. I don't want to drink it like all day long, but it's like fairly pleasant. It's a supplement, it tastes pretty good. So they did a good job. It took them a very long time to get that supplement out. And I think it took them a long time because they wanted the quality to be good. So I will say I really do like LifeWave. I'll give it to you straight because, does it mean that I'm always happy with everything from them? Of course not. But for the most part, you know what? They really try hard. They really try hard with quality, with integrity. And I don't think they want to give people things before they have them just right. They care. I mean, it comes from the top. It comes from David Schmidt. And he is an extremely caring person. He is an extremely benevolent person, and he has a lot of good in his heart. So anyway, I get a little chill because I think David Schmidt he's an amazing person. So just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody that joined today. It is always such a pleasure. I hope that this gives you some ideas for what, may or may not work for you. Keep it simple when you start. I've got a lot of videos up. I have a lot of free resources. If you would like to be a client of mine and you're not working with someone else, please always feel free to order through me. There's also, if you want to, you can contact me before if you need help with your ordering through me. And I really appreciate you. Hope that this brightened up your day a little bit. And I always like to bring a little bit about what's going on and happening kind of in my life because it's why I'm using the patches the way that I am. So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, everyone.